Okay, hey, welcome to an episode of On the Wrist from Off the Cuff. To have a really great little Seiko Saturday update for you guys. Of course, Seiko was founded back in 1881. They are Japanese in origin, now factories throughout Asia. They cover all market segments from entry level to high end. And in terms of type of watch, this is an everyday watch. Some key characteristics and design, which are for something you can wear every day. Of course, you're going to find that versatile blend of both sporty and dressy attributes. This is from their Seiko 5 sports line, and in particular their SNXS series. This is the SRPL59, and it is a modern revival of the popular SNXS series of smaller everyday watches, adding improved specs and build quality in 3 new, even more classic colorways with gilt accents. These go for $415 MSRP, or you can get these currently from the Watch Connection shop out of Costa Mesa in Southern California for $352.75. I think that's one heck of a deal. Big shout out to Noah and the team over at the Watch Connection shop. Those guys are awesome. This is my third Seiko through them, and I'm always happy to kind of find those local gems, especially when they are authorized dealers. So you're going to get all the coverage, etc. Definitely check them out online, or if you're in the area, I do obviously plan to at some point make it up to their shop. So hopefully I'll be able to do an on-site collaboration soon. Let me know down in the comments if you have any ideas. But this model, for me, has been a bit of a low-key release that I think really should have more hype around it, and I'm going to tell you why. So with that said, let's go ahead and zoom the camera out, get this piece in hand, and take a closer look. Okay, now I previously covered the original 3 models within this revival line, and I have to say they were all quite cool, but they didn't really resonate with me, whereas this one does. It feels just a lot more versatile, slightly less funky, and I think this gold dial here is fantastic. The gold on gold is just gives you a nice little pop. It has a beautiful warmth to it and is ultimately quite versatile, especially in this quite diminutive 37.2 millimeter diameter, 12.7 millimeters thick. But again, this is a Seiko 5, so you are going to have that 10 bar or 100 meter of water resistance as well. Now, the lug to lug, 44.3 millimeters, fantastic, brushed in polished stainless steel. You're also going to get that single curve hardlex, so when you get it at a very harsh angle, you're going to see there's going to be a bit of distortion. Some of you will think of that as, oh, that's a little bit of visual play. I like that. Some of you, like myself, I personally would have preferred if it was a dual curve, but that's typically going to be reserved for more expensive models from Seiko. Also, this, although it does have 100 meters of water resistance, this isn't necessarily meant to be some underwater gem or anything like that. So in terms of getting a bit of distortion on the crystal at a harsh angle, it's not going to be as much of a deal breaker. But I will say, take a look at that sloped chapter ring, beautifully aligned. So very cool. All right, now getting it to the crown, it's quite small. It's a push-pull crown. And yeah, you can tell this is modeled after a previous model that didn't have hand winding because the crown is quite small, but it works. You could do the Seiko shuffle if you wanted to, give it a nice little shake to get the power reserve going, or you can just give it a quick couple of winds here and it works. It's not unbearable or anything like that. It's not too awkward. It works, and of course it's quite protected, and it gives off quite a symmetrical feel because this crown doesn't stick out too much. Now, the movement inside, of course, is a day-date type of movement because you can see the day-date window there when it's not underneath the minutes hand. And it's going to be your Seiko 6R36. I'm sorry, 4R36. Yeah, it has very similar architecture to the 6R, but it is, of course, going to have a bit more of a limited power reserve at just 41 hours versus the 6Rs that are going to have a, started at the 6R15 with a 50-hour power reserve, went up to a 70-hour power reserve, and now a full 72-hour power reserve. This has a 41-hour power reserve, but a lot of people find that in terms of variance, that these older 4R styles actually are a bit more stable. So I'll say I haven't really had too much of an issue with either 4R or 6R movements, but there are some people that swear by 4R movements because they are also the branded version of Seiko's NH style of movement. The NH, in this case, would be the NH36, and there's a lot of micro brands that are out there that swear by these movements. It does have a 3 hertz sweep or 21,600 vibrations per hour in terms of that beat rate. Now, the dial, guys, very nice. Check it out. Applied indices. They are polished. They are lumed beautifully. Look at that. It feels quite more expensive than it is. I mean, yeah, it's about $350. This is a deal. This is a good looking watch from a great brand with great historical significance. And the fact that it's a Seiko 5 also carries a bit of cachet. I mean, no, it's not Tudor, guys. I mean, it's not Omega. I get that. It's not an IWC. I'm not saying it's this like, hot type of thing. It's not. Those ones I mentioned aren't even hot horology, okay? But in the enthusiast world, you can't go wrong with a Seiko 5. It's just part of the journey, and it's a whole lot of fun, and it's great that they're still able to put out pieces like this. I'll say when I go to these local watch meetups, a Seiko 5 is always nearby, and these aren't watches for people that are just like me, who are just purely Seiko obsessed. A lot of the times people will spice up whatever collection it is with a Seiko 5, whether they collect mostly independents, whether they collect a lot of Swiss, whether they collect a lot of German watches. Something about the Seiko 5 is just like, it's old reliable, it's old faithful. You can't go wrong with a Seiko 5. Now, the handset is fantastic. I mean, this is a watch modder's dream because it basically has everything already pre-modded for you. Look at those hands, beautifully executed, finely detailed, and it just, I don't know, guys. It all comes together. But let me know what you think down in the comments. Now, it does also, of course, like I mentioned, have 10 bar or 100 meters of water resistance. It does have also drilled lugs. Look at that beautiful transition. Let me give it a quick little wipe here on this nice chamfered case. Look at the transition there, beautifully done. Again, of course, this is more common these days, but still appreciated when I see it. Now, here's my one semi-ish drawback for somebody like myself with a larger wrist. This does have an 18 millimeter lug width. I do wish it was at least a 19 millimeter. 18 is a bit small for me, and it does taper down quite a bit to even smaller than 16 millimeters at about 15.7 millimeters. Now, everything's solid though, which is nice. So, again, you look at something like this, the older variations of that SNXS line, very hollow, very chintzy. Here, a lot better. It still does have split pin construction, but it is solid in terms of links, also solid in terms of the end link. And even look at the 3D milling there on that female end link. Very nice. Everything flows quite well. And of course, you do have the drilled lugs, so you can swap this out. I do wish it had a 20 millimeter lug width or a 19 millimeter, but I will say I've gotten a bit used to this as is. Also, you're going to have this nice signed push button folding clasp. It is not milled, it is stamped, but you know what? You do get the benefit of the level of comfort, and you can see it has a bit of flex to it, which means it's going to be quite comfortable on the wrist. And it means also that these very short links and then the 2 spots here for micro adjusts are definitely going to be able to be enough to get this dialed in for you, because again, it's not super tight. It's not a stiff oyster bracelet where you're going to need all this micro adjustment. Something like this, you're going to wear a little bit looser, and that's fine. Or you can wear a little bit tighter, and it's also fine because of the level of comfort is going to be there. So with that said, let's actually get it on the wrist and see how it wears. Okay, as you can see, very, very nice on the wrist there. Quite handsome, beautifully proportioned, maybe a little small on my wrist, and some of you can say, it looks great. And I can't argue with that. It looks good. But for me, this is something that I would definitely consider to wear underneath a long sleeve cuff because of the smaller sizing. Of course, I'm going to wrist a bit closer to the camera lens. You're going to notice a fair amount of perspective distortion. It's going to make the watch seem a lot larger and maybe even better suited to my wrist. But honestly, that's going to be because of the perspective distortion due to the lens there and what it's doing. So if I keep my wrist nice and low, check that out. Yeah, all of a sudden it is more centered, seems a little bit smaller, and you're seeing more of the sides of my wrist as well as the sides of the bracelet. And that's why when you're on Instagram, every small vintage watch looks so great, and so many watches just seem oversized when you're trying to take a picture with your phone. That's because your phone is using a wide angle lens, and it's going to be, again, providing a fair amount of perspective distortion. So I'll keep my wrist nice and low, and then just tighten up the frame so that you guys can get still a detailed look, but just add a bit of a true aspect ratio as to how this may lay on your own wrist. And as you guys can see, look at that. Don't be intimidated by that 12.7 millimeter thickness. Not everything is a Lamborghini. Not every watch needs to be this ultra thin thing. I will say some people like the lines of a nice wagon, a shooting brake, a hatchback, right? Or even an SUV. There are some cool ones out there that just have a bit of a higher silhouette and still look good. For me, something like this, especially considering you're still going to get that 100 meters of water resistance, giving you a feeling of a little additional robustness, especially with these organic lines, I'm fine with it. Could it be thinner? Sure. Is it a deal breaker? Nah, I don't even think it's a deal. I think it's just something to be noted for those of you who might have a fetish for thinner watches. I think otherwise, proportionally, this works quite well. You guys can see, again, more centered, more of the sides of the wrist are showing there with that drape of this very nice 3-link bracelet. This looks like something that you would pay typically aftermarket for. Nice thing already pre-set up for you from Seiko. So with that said, we'll get it off the wrist, set up for some Lume shots, low light transition, and closing thoughts. Okay, let's go ahead and hit the lights here. Yes, as you can see, that Lumen Bright is glowing nice and bright, especially brighter than you might expect from a watch that is on the dressier side. But of course, one thing I do like to work in is going to be a bit of a low light transition, because you're always going to be out in the middle of a field enjoying direct sunlight. A lot of times you're going to find yourself coming out of buildings, walking underneath the overhangs, or just hanging out underneath the shade of a tree. So it's nice with these colors, textures, and finishes render like in less than optimal lighting. And check that out. Very nice. A lot of great finishes there. The sunray pattern plays nicely. And you do have some fine transitions in terms of moving between that satin brush and that deep glossy polish. So very clean, well executed here, guys. Fine details that I can absolutely appreciate. And then, of course, you have Lume. So you have that going for you. And then you got this also going for you. And I dig that. Oof. Let's just enjoy this for a bit. Look at how dynamic this dial is. Very, very cool. Again, it's still quite classic, right? Because that golden tone is a bit retro without being loud. And I like that. I mean, imagine this watch on like a glossy black, like lizard or alligator, crocodile skin. I think that would look fantastic, and they would just dress up this watch so well. But then at the same time, when you don't want to dress it up, you totally can wear it on this bracelet. It's very well articulated and again is quite comfortable. So we'll get the lights back going for you here. Get into some closing thoughts, guys. On the wrist, great compact size, perfect for smaller wrists or larger wrists with more vintage size tastes. Also very accommodating for long sleeve casual wear. And in terms of model variants, so far, these three new variations kind of bring a modern bring the modern SNXS, is a bit of a tongue twister, series to 6 versions total. In terms of comparable models, guys, at the price point, it's really tough to beat the street-cred Seiko 5 offers. Remember, you're getting an iconic style from the original brand versus a bevy of homages that flood the rest of the market under $500. It's cool that, yeah, this is a re-release from the brand that created this look and this feel and this vibe and this aesthetic. I have no problem with an homage watch. I have no problem. I love micro brands, guys. But at the end of the day, this is from the brand, and there's something special about that. That's why people love Tudor so much, right? Is that you're getting the design language from one of the brands that helped create it, right? And that's just special. So for me, guys, bottom line, while Seiko's upper tier releases continue to be quite controversial, believe me, I know I've reviewed quite a few of them, and I own quite a few. Even polarizing amongst enthusiasts. Some people love it. Some people have been waiting for this era, like myself. And some people are just completely turned off by Seiko. You know what? Even with all that going on in those upper tiers, their Seiko 5 sports releases continue to kind of tap into a real sweet spot for those valuing fully integrated in-house qualities and significant brand history, all at a relatively affordable price point. And again, it's just special out there in the market to find this. For the interest they may lose in the kind of value for spec forward enthusiast market, I think they'll continue to thrive in the casual heritage market. So again, people who want to spend money on things that they feel matter, with a story that they feel resonates, especially when you think about a mechanical watch and the fact that it can last a couple generations, even beyond your own. That's something romantic with that idea. But let me know what you all think down in the comments below. If you like the video, please hit like, and if you're already, please subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks, guys.